Well, the first question I wanted to ask you, Mark, is, a lot of us in the media have been interested in talking to you for the last year or so, since everyone sort of discovered that President Obama has a brother in China, in Shenzhen, no less, very close to Hong Kong, and you weren't talking to the press for some time. But now you've decided to publish this book, and you are talking to more reporters. Why now? Why did you decide to come forward and to tell this story, which is somewhat autobiographical?
Nairobi to Shenzhen is a book that I started about 10 years ago. And it's a book that it's part of my experiences writing for many, many years. And what happened is it forced me in many ways, especially the election, and also just the experience of being in China. It forced me to reevaluate many, many things in my life. You look at the things that I've gone through in my life, whether it's living in different countries, China, America, and Kenya, and living in having different experiences, multiracial family, maybe from different religions at the same time. And I've written before, but this book, in some ways, I was trying to capture so much of my life. And I think life just prepared me for this book. And I have limited my experiences to the media because I really value my own privacy and my wife's privacy. But at the same time, I've made exceptions when it comes to charity.
I know you had shied away from using the name Obama for some time, and when your mother remarried, you took on your stepfather's last name. And now, on the book, I can see that you're embracing that name again. What is that like now?
I am an Obama, right? And my life, to a certain extent, for a large part of it, was a certain sense of repudiation of that. But I'm very glad, perhaps through my wife, for example, has made me understand more about myself. And through this diary, which was called the election, and also this mixture of things called China, I came to some sort of realization.
Now, I know the book and the main central character in the book, a lot of the theme is around David's relationship with his father. Can you describe what your relationship was with your own father?
Well, I think the relationship that I had with my father was it's a difficult one. And I think part of it was that there was great pressure on my father in many ways. He was not. Well, let me tell you something. I started this book actually as an autobiography, and as I was writing this autobiography, I started to think about my father, and I said, I want to write about my father. But the thing is that I want to write something that's honest and true about him. I didn't have positive memories of my dad. Perhaps because of the domestic violence. The three themes that I've been pressing are, the book is meant to raise awareness of domestic violence, and I hope it does some good in that way. I really do, because I think people don't talk about this.
Now, in Dreams from My Father, President Obama describes his meeting with you, and he says, I think his wording was, it was like looking into a foggy mirror. And I was curious, reading that scene and then knowing that I would meet you today, thinking, well, what did you think when you met him? What were your impressions of him?
Gosh. Actually, I hadn't even thought so much about that until that particular scene, because it's amazing how these things take on a life of their own with other people. I didn't even consider that seriously from the point of, let me put it this way, I didn't consider it in some ways that other people considered it.
But you were meeting your brother for the first time. It must have made some kind of impact on you.
It made a very strong impact on me. But like I said, as in the book, a lot of these things you realize much later, right? That's life. And actually, I'm writing an autobiography. And I think this will be a good, what I want to do is I want to explain my part of that story for that. But all I can say at this point is that it was a very intense experience, and I'm just glad that we are family.
I understand you're going to see him. I mean, he's going to be in China on, is it today's the 12th, on Sunday? Shanghai and then Beijing. Are you going to one of those cities to meet up with him?
Well, my plan is to, I'm so happy my brother is coming here to China, because I have experienced the warmth, the graciousness of the Chinese people. They are great hosts, very gracious, and I know that it's a unique experience to be among them and experience this. My brother and his fantastic team already know this, but I know that when they are here, they will have a wonderful time. My plan is to introduce my wife to my brother. She truly is his greatest fan.